is Mystery Meats Fine Dining Podcast, helping foodies discover new restaurants and new friends. Here's your host, the founder of Mystery Meat, Seth Ressler.
Hello, welcome to Mystery Meats Fine Dining Podcast. This is the podcast for foodies who love travel and travelers who love food. I'm your host, Seth Ressler, and here's how it works. Every week, we go to a different city and we talk to a local passionate foodie, somebody who is a food expert in some way. Quite often it's a blogger, sometimes it's a food event organizer, sometimes it's a local chef. Today, we're actually going to one of my favorite cities in all of the United States, Austin, Texas, where we're going to talk to Katie Lewis of the Slow Down and Savor blog. We're going to find out a little bit about her blog. We'll talk to her about the city of Austin, give you everything a foodie needs to know. We'll get a restaurant recommendation from her. She's got a great one. And finally, we will play Out of the Frying Pan. So, Katie, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me.
So tell me a little bit about yourself. How long have you been in Austin now? Because you're originally like a Jersey native, right?
Yep, I'm actually from right outside of Philadelphia, but I've been in the Texas Hill Country in Austin for about 4 years now. So
I've heard this term before, Texas Hill Country. What exactly does that mean?
Well, the area of Texas that I live in is very different than what I would ever have thought Texas to be. It's full of hills, trees. It's gorgeous. It's rolling. It's not flat at all.
So this isn't just, there's a cactus and a tumbleweed blows by kind of thing.
No, there's plenty of cactuses or cacti, but there's no tumbleweeds. There's a ton of rivers. That's one of the big attractions here, is going tubing down the rivers, and it's just gorgeous. A lot of wonderful nature and wildlife out here.
Nice. I always imagine you walk outside of one of the cities in Texas and you find one of those cattle skulls just lying on the ground. I mean,
Yeah.
You are CEO, founder, and sole employee of the Slow Down and Savor blog.
That's right.
So tell me a little bit about why you started blogging and what the blog's all about.
Well, I first started blogging because I was interested in the history of food and why people cook and eat what they do. And I was incredibly interested with the whole fact that food is like the central tying point in pretty much every single culture in the whole entire world. It's something that brings people together, makes people excited. It's a celebration, or it's a mourning. It's something that gets people together to have conversations and get to know each other, and it's a really beautiful thing. So when I first started blogging, I was exploring things like, why is the club sandwich called the club sandwich, stuff like that. But then...
Well, all right, I gotta know. Yeah, I mean, you can't just bring that up and drop it. Why is the club sandwich called the club sandwich?
Well, there's actually a club, a writing club, I guess, in New York.
Yeah.
Where the gentlemen would gather and have sandwiches that had layers of meat and bacon and bread, and it was just called the club sandwich because that's the only thing that they had at the club that gentlemen would eat.
Oh, wow. All right.
Yeah.
I had no idea. Good to know.
Yeah.
So you're right. So food obviously plays a big role in culture, and it is a big point where people come together. And that's actually a lot of what Mystery Meat is it's actually a bunch of foodies coming together, and there's a real social component to eating.
Exactly. But about a year ago, I got more interested in actually getting out of my little comfort zone and trying new things, going to food trailers, going to restaurants, trying new local restaurants that people have never heard of. Then I decided I need to start cooking too. So I started finding interesting recipes that were both beautiful and something I'd never done before. And I document my cooking experience. My whole idea is getting an experience. It's not just a review. It's not just a recipe. It's the whole experience of eating, of savoring, of slowing down and enjoying that moment. And that's where I got the name of the blog, Slow Down and Savor.
And I know that you like the hole-in-the-wall places and the food trucks and things like that.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about Austin, and before we do, we're going to do something we've never done before, which is that you're going to try and stump me with a trivia question about the city.
Yes.
All right, so what do you got?
All right. True or false? Austin is the 14th best burger city in the United States.
True or false? Austin is the 14th best burger city in the U.S. Austin is the... All right, let me think about that, and we'll come back to it, all right? So tell me about Austin. Austin is obviously known for being the live music capital of the world.
Yeah.
And this is, so I worked in the music industry for a while and would come down to Austin every year for South by Southwest, which is fantastic, though it's gotten a little out of control, right?
Yes, it's definitely hard to catch a bus if you're a resident.
Do the natives like dislike South by Southwest at this point because it's so crowded, or do they still love it?
I mean, it's definitely an exciting experience, and you get to meet a whole lot of new people, but it gets really, really crowded. And whenever I was actually living in Austin proper during the past South by Southwest, and I sat at a bus stop for 2.5 hours waiting to get on.
Wow.
I was like, I just want to go to school.
Wow. And for people who don't know, I mean, so you've got sort of 6th Street, which is the main drag with all the bars and stuff like that, right? Going down Austin.
It's definitely the most famous area. It's kind of like our Bourbon Street, I'd guess.
And everything becomes a music venue during South by Southwest. They close it down. You can walk down right down the middle. And if there's a bar, if there's,
A sidewalk.
right, they close it down and all of a sudden there's a musician playing.
That's right.
Tell me about the slogan, Keep Austin Weird.
Austin is definitely a little bit quirky. There's so many things to do that you can't really find anywhere else. Like down on 6th Street, there's a little restaurant/bar called Casino El Camino, and it's black. You go inside and it's dark, and it's covered in skulls, and it's got the best jukebox in Austin award many years in a row. And
Is Austin a rock and roll city, or is it a country western city, or is it a little bit of both?
it's a little bit of everything. I mean, there's the hard rock club, there's country music, the piano bar, the dueling piano bar is amazing.
I love those.
Oh, it's so cool.
And then let me ask you about the bats, because I know that there's quite a few bats there in Austin.
There's like thousands of bats. They just come out from under the bridge at dusk, and it's like clockwork, and it's gorgeous and creepy at the same time. But it's so cool. It's definitely a tourist attraction. I loved it.
All right, I got to check that out. All right, so if I'm a foodie and I'm coming into Austin, first of all, tell me what sort of food and cuisine the city is known for.
It's known for not just good barbecue, that we've got tons of that though, like at Stubbs and Franklin's. Franklin's barbecue is incredibly popular. Like they sell out of their brisket at like 10 in the morning. You got to get there early. But it's known for pretty much anything you'd want. Like they have a food trailer touting award-winning Asian and Southern U.S. fusion cuisine. There's Paul Chi, who just won that Top Chef Texas. He's behind the East Side Kings trailer, and they're following suit with the new ramen trend. And who would have thought that ramen
would become trend?
It's amazing. There's traditional Mexican restaurants situated in a repurposed house in a sleepy little area. So it's just one of those places where you can't say it specializes in one thing because it has everything.
All right, but let's start with the barbecue, because obviously Texas barbecue is a big thing. First of all, what is Texas-style barbecue?
It's pit-style smoked meat, and the best example that I can give of this is Salt Lick and Driftwood.
Yep.
It's close enough to Austin to be Austin.
Yeah, so Salt Lick, you actually have to drive out an hour away, maybe? I don't even know if it's that far.
Like 30 minutes.
Right, and it's in the middle of nowhere. You're hill country, right?
The hill country. It's a bunch of hills everywhere, and you're close when you start smelling the meat. It's incredible.
Yeah, and you see the animals still sort of milling around outside when you are in the restaurant.
That is definitely one of the quirks. Living out in the ranch areas, there's a bunch of cattle, longhorns, and other sorts of cows milling about. And
so then you walk in, and you're right, and there's this huge stone pit that they've been cooking in all day, and that's the best barbecue I've ever had in my life, is at the Salt Lick. And of course, now you have to tell people when they go to Austin, make sure you go to the Salt Lick, but not the one at the airport.
Right. There's one at the airport, and there's one in Round Rock, and those I'm sure they're fine. I'm sure that they put a good effort in. But the one in Driftwood is perfect.
Right.
That's all there is to it.
All right, so that's Texas-style barbecue. Let's talk about some of the different dining districts. If I'm coming in, what's the first neighborhood I should explore?
I would say Rainey Street. It's down by Cesar Chavez, and it is really just exploding right now. What used to be a super sleepy residential neighborhood has slowly turned into a really trendy hotspot for nightlife. There's a ton of bars on that street, but there's also a number of wonderful restaurants. They have a charity bar called the White House, where all your alcohol is free. You just give a donation to your favorite charity, and they have different sections of different rooms, like homeless or children's, and it's a nonprofit, And it's really cool. I'd never heard of anything like that. And right behind the White House is the United Nations of Food. And that has about 10, I think, food trailers parked behind there. And you can get anywhere from Persian to, I think you can get Mexican. It's everything. That's why it's the United Nations of Food, but it's really cool.
All right, that sounds really cool. So that's Rainey Street. And other places that I might want to check out?
The Warehouse District is a pretty cool little area. It's pretty much 6th Street. It's basically old warehouses were bought out and turned into restaurants and bars and stores. And one of the most famous ones is Antone's nightclub. And it's the first nightclub on 6th Street. And it opened its doors in the summer of 1975. And the venue is now located at the corner of 5th and Lavaca. It was founded by Clifford Antone. And he's hosted blues greats like Muddy Waters and B.B. King, Buddy Guy. All these people have been there. And it's still a great location for awesome blues music and some good drinks.
Cool. All right. Rainey Street, check. Warehouse District, check. Anywhere else I got to go?
East 6th area. It's a super vibrant part of Austin. And my favorite part about this area is the East Side Fill-In Station. It's a food trailer park that features Way South Philly. Again, it's their second location. They have amazing cheesesteaks. I just can't get enough. And being from right outside of Philly, those cheesesteaks are perfect.
Now, I gotta ask, you guys call them food trailers down there in Austin, not food trucks?
We don't actually have many food trucks. The trailers themselves are hitched. They're stationary.
Oh, okay. So I mean, you're not kidding. They really are trailers.
There's a couple that are on wheels, but most of them are not. Trailer Food Diaries is a company created by this woman, Tiffany Harlick, and she has pretty much become the face of the food trailer world here in Austin. Has put together events like the Gypsy Picnic and Trailer Food Tuesdays. It's definitely become part of the culture here.
So tell me about the Gypsy Picnic, because that sounds cool. What's that?
Last year was the second annual Gypsy Picnic Trailer Food Festival, and it was at Auditorium Shores in October. And about 30 or so food trailers came out, and over 30,000 people came and to sample all the different food. There was, of course, live music. There's a dog park right next door, so there's a lot of animals. It was just one of the most exciting and fun things that I've done in this city. It brought together a lot of foodies, a lot of people that had never even heard of food trailers, people young and old, from Austin, not from Austin. It was super exciting.
Nice. And then what are Food Trailer Tuesdays?
Trailer Food Tuesdays is another one of the Austin Trailer Food festivals or events here in Austin. And it takes place on the last Tuesday of every month. And basically there were 8 to 10 food trailers that would come, and they'd either be brand spanking new ones. Like this, the last one in November had Little Big Mike's pizza trailer, and they had just opened the month before, so no one really knew about them. But there's also the Peach Tortilla, which has been around for a while and actually won an award from Food and Wine magazine. So you get your array of different tastes there. And there's live music. There was a DJ this last time, vendors, and it's also put on by the same woman who did the Gypsy Trailer Picnic Festival, Tiffany Harlow.
All right, we're going to take a break for just a second, then we're going to come back and we're going to talk to you about a fantastic Oaxacan, which is an area of Mexico, restaurant that you're going to recommend.
Yes.
Okay, this is the portion of the program where I shamelessly plug Mystery Meat. Mystery Meat is our social dining group. We launched it in Boston a couple of years ago. It's now spreading to other cities. We've launched a chapter in San Francisco. We're about to host our first dinner in Seattle, and we've got San Jose coming up in February, so it's spreading. It's a bunch of foodies who get together to have a great meal at a restaurant. The catch is this: they don't find out where they're going until 24 hours in advance. So you buy your ticket and you literally have no idea where you're going to go. But this guarantees that you sit down with a bunch of other adventurous foodies to have a really good meal, really good conversation, talking about food, talking about places they've been. It's just a wonderful time. And if you want a Mystery Meat dinner to come to your town, what you need to do is go to mysterymeat.org, click the big orange button that says Get an Invitation, and sign up. If we've got one going on in your city, we will send you an invitation to the next dinner. If we don't have one going on in your city yet, we will watch, tell your friends to sign up, and when we see enough interest, we will absolutely start a chapter there. So we would love to have you. Just head on over, mysterymeat.org, click the big orange button, get an invitation, sign up. All right, we are talking to Katie Lewis, who is the author of the Slow Down and Savor blog in Austin, Texas. Now, you asked me a trivia question a little earlier. What was the question again?
True or false? Austin is the 14th best burger city in the U.S.
True or false? Austin is the 14th best burger city in the U.S. This is according to USA Today. So I'm thinking, here's what I'm thinking. You have a lot of cattle down there. You're known for certainly barbecue, but you're definitely known for meat. I gotta think you're better than 14. I gotta think that's false. I gotta think that the answer is Austin is ranked higher than 14. Is that true?
Yes, that's true. We're 13th.
All right. Who's ahead?
Denver, Chicago, like everyone.
I'd be hard pressed to name 13 cities that I think would be better than Austin, Texas. But Austin, Texas, 13th best burger in the United States. What are you guys number one for? I mean, if there's one thing that I should eat when I come to Austin, Texas, what is it?
I would say just try something at a food trailer. They are the biggest trend right now, and they just keep getting better.
Well, you actually have a restaurant recommendation that started as a food trailer.
That's right.
Tell me what restaurant you're recommending.
I am recommending El Naranjo. It is an authentic Oaxacan Mexican restaurant. And Oaxaca is actually a little town in the interior of Mexico. I had never heard of it before, but that's where the chef, Ileana de la Vega, and her family is from. And so she is definitely an expert on that kind of food.
So tell me the story of Ileana de la Vega.
Chef Ileana de la Vega and her husband, his name is Ernesto Torrealba, they married in 1997 and moved back to her hometown of Oaxaca. And that's where they decided to open a restaurant. They had never done it before, but she had great culinary experience. He, on the other hand, was a trained architect. So he jumped right in the kitchen, though, apparently, and became a great quick study. And it took them a little while to get their feet on the ground with the restaurant.
Both of them are cooking. Both the husband and wife are in the kitchen.
I think that's wonderful. They're very sweet.
Aww.
But by May 2003, they actually made it to the cover of Bon Appetit magazine, and they had a caption that was, "The soul of Mexico, bold flavors, romantic places, and rich traditions." And so the restaurant was going strong. It was apparently a great place to go. Everyone was happy about it. But by 2006, there was some bad stuff going on, political unrest that was actually forced them out. And they had to sell their restaurant and move to the United States.
So they had to leave Oaxaca and come north.
Yep. Apparently it was just really bad.
Huh.
So they landed in Austin. I feel lucky for that. And shortly after they moved to Austin, Ernesto started planning a food trailer called El Naranjo, which means orange in Spanish. It was their first step to learn about the Austin food market and culinary scene. And then 2008, before Rainey Street is what it is today, they bought one of the houses that was on the street. They parked their trailer in its driveway, and they made enough money to open the brick and mortar building that is there now. Here we are 4 years later, and Rainey Street has boomed into something that's just so cool, and they're in the heart of it.
Oh, that's a cool story. I love stories like that. So tell me about authentic Mexican cuisine, because so many of the places that you go to and you can get Mexican cuisine, it's not really Mexican.
I've had my fair share of Mexican food that's been touted as authentic Mexican food. And I believed it until I went to El Naranjo, and my whole entire view of authentic Mexican food has been completely changed. I was watching them bring in all the fresh produce while I was sitting there eating. It's just constantly fresh. That's something that I've noticed about Mexican food, is that you order an enchilada and you order a taco and they taste pretty much the same. And here, it's just so amazing how different they are. The fish tacos are robust. They're just packed with punch of flavor. And then like these pork shoulder tacos are just so deep. It's amazing.
Nice. All right. So, I sit down. Is there an appetizer you recommend?
I recommend the guacamole tradicional, just because there's something to be said about super fresh guacamole. It's just beautiful. I also would recommend the salad, the side salad. And I know that sounds really stupid, but their dressing, the salad dressing, it's lemon and hibiscus, and I could just drink it.
Wow.
It's so good.
Nice. All right, so we got the side salad and the guacamole going. What are the main dishes that you'd suggest?
I would recommend the tacos de pescador, and those are 3 tacos with achiote, marinated fish with cabbage, pico de gallo, and it's on corn tortillas, and you get 3 of them. They are, first of all, super red, and just the colors look like a party. They're so pretty. It just made me smile when I saw them. They smelled absolutely outstanding. You could smell each ingredient. It wasn't like, oh, this is Mexican food smell. This was something different. The fish was perfectly cooked. For that day, it was pollock. Whatever's fresh at the market is what they get. And it was seasoned with the achiote, which is, I guess, it's a little seed that gives a really nice color. It's vibrant. It's red. And it's nice and smoky.
That sounds good.
The other entree that I would recommend is tacos de cociente de pibil, which is slow roasted pork shoulder. And basically they roast it for a really long time with the achiote again. And it's a whole different beast. This is mysterious and dark, and it's seductive, if food could be seductive.
I've been seduced once or twice.
I was like, ooh, hello. And it has some pickled red onions on the top, and they're just bright pink. So it was really pretty.
Oh, wow. That sounds really, really good. Can I actually get both, or will I be too full?
My mother and I went together. She got the fish tacos, and I got the pork tacos, and we exchanged one apiece. So we were able to eat 3. It was wonderful.
So go with friends is what you're saying.
With friends, get different kinds of tacos, get different kinds of fillings, and switch out and taste them all, because it's worth it. You'll see how it's not just one flavor. It's so many different components that make them magical and brilliant.
Cool. And what about to drink? What do you recommend?
The Pepinissimo, Bombay gin, cucumber juice, muddled serranos, and fresh lime juice. I love cucumber and serranos. I didn't know this before, but cucumbers and serranos together, it's so refreshing. So it's bizarre. You're drinking a pepper and cucumber.
So cucumber drinks are fantastic because, like you said, they're so refreshing. I mean, it's like the perfect drink to have when you are outside on a hot day. It's fantastic.
You're sipping on it, you're like, ooh, there's the lime, there's the pepper, cucumber, gin, perfect.
Nice. All right. And what can we expect to drop on a meal here? I mean, is this an expensive place or?
It's medium, I would say. It's more expensive than a hole in the wall, but it's not like the fine dining prices that you'll find anywhere else. So.
All right. Are you ready to play a little game?
Yes.
All right. This game is called Out of the Frying Pan. Here's how it works. I am going to ask you for the very first recommendation you can think of right off the top of your head. All right, no wrong answers, just tell me whatever pops in there. Tell me your favorite spot in Austin for outdoor dining.
The East Side Fill-In Station. It's got some really cool different kinds of seating options. There's actually some bus seats that are around a table that you can sit on. It's beautiful scenery, and there's tons of food trailers to choose from.
All right, tell me your favorite first date restaurant.
Ooh. I actually went on a first date to Casino El Camino. I say that it's the best place to go because it's fun, it's interesting, you gotta be laid back, there's tons of weird stuff going on, and there's no dull moments.
Nice. Was there a second date after going there?
Yes.
Then it must work. All right, UT Austin is obviously a huge school there. When there's a game, what's your favorite bar to go watch the game?
I love Third Base because it's like a traditional sports bar. There's no fancy food. There's beer, cold, and good wings.
All right, when guests come in from out of town, where's your favorite place to take them?
I love to take them to the Salt Lick just because it's so famous. It's one of those things that you see on TV, on the Travel Channel, on the Food Network, and you can actually take them there, and it's actually good.
If I want to go somewhere for an original cocktail, where do you recommend?
Peche. Peche is an absinthe bar. They have tons of cocktails, and everyone there is incredibly knowledgeable, and you're in for a really cool time when you go. It looks like a library.
Now, I've always wanted to try absinthe. I haven't. For people who don't know, absinthe is this liquor that was outlawed for a long time, and they just made it legal again. Tell me what absinthe tastes like.
Absinthe is made from wormwood, and it kind of tastes licorice-y, and they pour it over a sugar cube, and it's mysterious, and it's potent.
Supposedly, if you have too much of it, you can actually hallucinate.
It's definitely strong.
All right, last question. Obviously, there's a lot of cattle there in Texas. Where is your favorite steakhouse?
Perry's. And Perry's Steakhouse is my very favorite. I know there's one in Sugar Land and in Houston, too. It's pretty expensive, but it's incredibly, incredibly worth it. The steaks are amazing. They have pork chops that they carve for you at the table. The wine selection is endless. It's beautiful. It's wonderful.
Okay, the restaurant recommendation is El Naranjo. You can find it online at El Naranjo, ELNARANJO-restaurant.com. Katie Lewis of the Slow Down and Savor blog. If people want to find you online or follow you on social media, how can they do that?
My website is www.slowdownsavor.com. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/slowdownsavor. And Twitter @slowdownsavor.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you so much. This
has been the Mystery Meat Podcast. My name is Seth Ressler. If you want to have a Mystery Meat dinner in your town, all you need to do is go to mysterymeat.org. Click the big orange button that says Get an Invitation and sign up. And when we see a lot of people in your city, who want to have a Mystery Meat dinner, we will come there and do it. We would love to do one in Austin coming soon because I love the city of Austin. If you want links to any of the restaurants or other things that Katie and I talked about in the show, you can find them on the website, mysterymeat.org. You can also follow us on Twitter or on Facebook there. And we would love you to go over to iTunes and subscribe to the Mystery Meat Podcast and even leave a review if you like the show. And finally, if you're a blogger or food event organizer, you want to come on and tell us about your city, we would love to have you. Go to mysterymeat.org and click the big Contact Us link and send us an email. We'd love to have you on the show. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will talk to you next time.
This has been Mystery Meat's Fine Dining Podcast. You can find links to the websites mentioned in this episode at mysterymeat.org/podcast. Thank you for listening.